welcome to Senior Solutions Utah Television. I'm Michelle Rowley. The goal of our show here today is to present you with information about some of the services and resources that are available to help you put some life back into your life. Everyone we are talking with today lives and works here in Utah. These people know the unique circumstances and regulations here in the state. So everything we are talking about here today applies to residents and services here in Utah. Whether you're a senior or, like me, the daughter of an aging parent, we hope you'll find our show informative. If you're a senior, your generation has been called the greatest generation, or baby boomers. You've worked hard to see that your retirement would be filled with the things you didn't have while you were working, and that you weren't going to be a burden to your children. My generation has been called the sandwich generation. We have in many cases jobs and families, and yet we find ourselves sometimes having to put those things on the back burner to help our parents. We've spent much of the past year talking to experts, and we've selected some of the best to let you know just what is available right here in Utah to help make the most of your life now. There's a strong relationship between age and hearing loss. Many people who have hearing loss don't seek treatment because of a variety of factors. No matter the reason, a hearing evaluation is recommended every year, just like an eye exam or checkup. Earlier, we spoke with Liz Hanley from House of Hearing about hearing loss.
That is a good question. A lot of people will come in and they will say, Liz, I don't need a hearing aid. I can hear fine as long as people speak up, or as long as people speak clearly, or if they're looking right at me, I can hear them. And then once we talk a little bit more, we find out that, yeah, one-on-one they're doing okay, but once the spouse turns their back, or once they add distance, or once you go to church and there's a lot more noise, or if you go to a restaurant and it's, there's a lot more commotion around you, then the person says, yeah, I really have a hard time in those places. That's gonna be one of those big signs that if you can pinpoint that there are places that you're not hearing as clearly as you should be, it's a pretty good indication you should at least get your hearing checked. Another thing is going to be if your family members are saying something, because oftentimes the family are going to be the ones who say, Mom, you're not hearing me like you used to, or Dad, you're ignoring me, you're not hearing me the way that I know you should be hearing me. And a lot of spouses will come in and they'll say, is it selective hearing? Are they ignoring me? But it's causing contention in our relationship. And a lot of times it is hearing loss and it needs to be treated. So a lot of people will come in and they'll bring in a stack of papers that say, I have ads. I get ads in the newspaper all the time. I get ads in the mail all the time. It seems like everybody sells hearing aids. And one thing that I tell them is I don't sell hearing aids. I fit hearing aids, I work with hearing aids, yes, I dispense hearing aids, but it's so much bigger than that. I give people hearing back. I give their families their mom back, their dad back. I give them the relief from ringing in their ears. I give them the relief that they can go back to their bingo nights and they can play bingo with the rest of their friends. That's what I do. And that is the one thing that is going to set us apart from all of those ads that you get in the paper and all of the mailers and all of the things that you hear about a cheap hearing aid. You don't want a cheap hearing aid. You need the services and a quality hearing aid to keep you happy. Yeah, you're going to hear better. You are going to hear clearer and you're going to be able to understand speech better. But more than that, you're going to get your life back. You're going to be able to go to restaurants and be able to communicate with your girlfriends. You're going to be able to go to your kids' plays and be able to actually understand those little tiny voices when they have those parts that they were so nervous about. You're going to be able to catch that. There are so many things that make people draw back and they become socially isolated when they cannot hear well. And what a hearing aid can do is it brings life back into life. And that's why I love what I do.
It's not only the person who has the impairment who are affected by hearing loss. Spouses, children, grandchildren, and friends all feel the effects of someone who has a hearing loss. Hearing loss can take many forms, but most can be remedied really very simply. Call 844-292-6687 now to learn more about hearing loss and what you can do about it. The desire to remain independent, not wanting to be a burden to friends, neighbors, or relatives, and of course safety are all concerns when it comes to navigating stairs. But just because you have stairs in your home is not necessarily a reason to leave your home. Modern stair lifts could be just what you're looking for. To find out more, we spoke with Kyle Binns at 101 Mobility, Utah.
What we do is provide mobility and accessibility for seniors and those with disabilities to gain access to their homes, to gain access to different levels in their homes with stair lifts, ramps out front to get mobility access into their homes. Those kinds of things are what we do.
I really need it because my apartment is downstairs and the living quarters are upstairs. So in order to have my dinner, I need to get up there. And while I use the stairs whenever I can, in the evenings especially, I'm pretty tired. So it just helps me to live my life. You know, parents or caregivers of individuals that live with them, being able to help them. You know, we get such positive feedback from them and helping them help their loved ones get to where they need to go in their homes. It's been a great positive experience.
Safety is going up and down stairs is a primary concern to us.
Well, we want to tell people, I mean, the last thing you want to do is have a fall. And so the advice that we give them is that they really should check out their different options that are out there for them to help them access what, you know, where they need to go in their home, upstairs to their bedroom or, you know, downstairs to do the laundry.
But other than that, it was wonderful to get to my freezer, to get to my pantry, to just to be able to see how much stored water we had, for example, and things like that.
Not only would we ride up and down, but we might be taking stuff down or bringing stuff up that would be added weight. And so this particular chair offered 50 more pounds. In other words, the load capacity was 400 versus 350 or 300 some of the other chairs. I thought that was important.
Well, it's interesting because they get very, very excited at times. You know, we've had some ladies access their basement for the first time in you know, a year or 18 months, and to have them come back up the stairs on the stair lift and get off. I've actually had a woman grab me by the face and kiss me on the cheek, and she told me I haven't been in my basement for about a year and a half. And you know, they just get very, very excited that they can still, there's a fear of leaving their home, and we give them the ability to stay in their home a little bit longer. And so it means a lot to them. And it's very gratifying for us to experience that and be a part of that.
Having a stair lift in your home could make your life a lot better and easier. One of the biggest fears seniors have is falling. One fall can be debilitating to someone over 65. Stairs pose not just a physical threat to a senior, but an emotional threat as well. Relieve the fear by calling 844-292-6687 and getting more information today. Without a doubt, one of the most misunderstood resources available for seniors is reverse mortgage. The misinformation about this one topic could take our entire half hour here today. While not everyone will qualify or even want a reverse mortgage, having a mortgage professional take the time to explain the upsides and the relatively few risks of a reverse mortgage could be the most revealing hour you ever spend. Mark Hammond from Legend Reverse Mortgage explains.
You know, I had a pretty good 401k that I had contributed to for years and years and years. But when the housing bubble burst and when Wall Street took us all down, my 401k lost about half of its value.
Hi, welcome to my reverse mortgage exposed videos. In these videos, we'll get into some of the pitfalls to avoid and some of the bad things about reverse mortgages that you must be aware of. So let's start out with something they never tell you in the TV commercials. A reverse mortgage is similar to a regular mortgage, except instead of making payments on the loan, the interest is added on to the end of the loan. That's important to understand. So reverse mortgages give you money now while allowing you to postpone payment of the interest till later, so you can use all of your income for living expenses and none for interest. They're designed to help you use the equity in your home to help you stay in your home for a longer period of time where you're comfortable, and allows you the financial ability to stay independent. Pay for help at home as you may need it, and postpone the need to uproot yourself from your home in order to get the care you need. So aside from your loan balance going up, it doesn't sound too bad. So let me get this straight. Each month the amount you owe goes up. Horrible, right? So you end up owing more and more and more until they come and they take your house away, right? Wrong. Owing too much is never a trigger for repayment of the loan. In fact, you could live to be 200 years old and you'd never be asked to pay a dime of interest, as long as you live in the home, pay your taxes and insurance, maintain the home, and there's one more that I'll talk about in the next video. So those are your obligations. And as long as you do those things, the lender is under contract to not require you to pay any interest as long as you live in the home. One of the best things about reverse mortgages is that you remain the legal owner. You can sell your house or refinance it as long as you pay off the reverse mortgage. This can be challenging though, because the longer you have the reverse mortgage, the higher the balance gets. So you should not look at a reverse mortgage as a short-term solution. You should view this as a way to tap into your equity without having to make mortgage payments, a way to live off your equity without having to sell your home. And reverse mortgages don't require that you promise to pay the money back. You're not personally guaranteeing the repayment of this loan. I bet you're thinking, why would lenders do this? Why would they lend money and not ask for payments? Well, actually, they wouldn't. Not unless our federal government ensured that they wouldn't lose money.
If you're struggling with making ends meet, you might consider finding out more. Call 844-292-6687 now to order your free reverse mortgage video series. You owe it to yourself to see what kind of financial relief you could find in a reverse mortgage. Our video series will explain how safe and helpful a properly prepared reverse mortgage can be. Only about 30% of seniors know that there is assistance for family members who need a little extra help. I spent time with Lisa Sanchez of Midas Creek Home Health. She's an expert in the field of home health care. Lisa, what is home health care?
Home health care provides care to seniors in their home. So us at Midas Creek, we have nurses, physical therapists, occupational therapists, and CNAs that will travel to the patient's home and provide services there at the patient's home.
What do people need to know about if they qualify for home health care or if their loved one qualifies?
So to find out if you qualify for home health, just give us a call. We will contact your physician and see if you have a skilled need at that point in time. And then we'll also contact your insurance company and make sure that you have coverage for that. With Medicare, Medicare covers home health at 100%. And if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, usually it's covered at 100%, but sometimes there are a few small copays. But for the most part, Medicare covers home health at 100%.
What are the things most people just don't know about home health care?
So home health care, it can vary depending on the severity of the patient's condition. So if they just need a nurse, it would just be a nurse. But we do have patients, that need physical therapy as well as occupational therapy, and maybe even a CNA to assist them into the shower, 5 days a week or 3 days a week. So it just really depends on the condition of the patient. So some patients just may have a nurse, where others may utilize, all the disciplines that we have employed here.
Oh, I would be a lost cause. I mean, my husband's wonderful, but Midas comes in, the girls that they send. Cam is the nurse, and she comes in and does all my pills for me, sets them up for the week. My daughter was getting very afraid that I would misplace or take more than I should. And so she was thrilled when Midas Creek came on the scene and could do and would do that for me.
Sounds like you're really passionate about what you do here at Midas Creek Home Health Care.
Absolutely, especially through the winter months when, it's really snowy out there and we have a patient that, has a hard time even getting from their recliner to a wheelchair, and they need to just go to the physician to have a blood draw for an INR, something that's monitoring their Coumadin levels. Us being able to go in and check that in their home without the family member or the husband or the caregiver having to get them into the wheelchair, get them out through the snow, into the car.
But Midas Creek trains their people to be genuinely concerned, have empathy and caring that other companies just don't, but Midas Creek does.
And what kind of things have caregivers had to say about being able to have some relief from taking care?
Oh my gosh, they're just so grateful and so thankful. The thank you cards that we get, they're amazing. That is the most rewarding thing about home health.
Something you should consider is that because a family member as a caregiver may not be properly trained, they might not be giving their family member the care they need. There are trained caregivers as close as a phone call away. Call 844-292-6687 now to get more information on home health care. Few things are more stressful than the death of a loved one. When you add the burden of planning and financing the final arrangements, it can take away from the legacy of the life that was lived.
It was wonderful knowing what she wanted and how she wanted it, and I always wanted to do the same thing.
Well, my father had cancer most of the last 7 years, and it was his second round of cancer, and so he knew that his time was limited, and 4 months before he passed away, I convinced him to do some pre-need planning for his and my mother's funeral services. I really believe that it saved a lot of argument and difficult decisions at the time that we were planning his funeral.
It was a lot easier. There was 4 of us, and I was not the oldest, but I'm the one that had all the information because I lived with my mother. I was the baby, and I had all the information, and they couldn't, it was right there. It was easy to do.
Yes, we also had several family members saying, well, I remember Dad saying he wanted this, and I'm sure Dad would want this, and the contracts and the decisions made ahead of time really just helped that difficult time so that we could do what Dad wanted if he had already made the plans ahead of time. Well, I know that a lot of people feel uncomfortable with the idea of talking about funeral arrangements ahead of time, but I just feel that it's an important decision that needs to be made, and I don't like to prolong those decisions, so I'm not uncomfortable with it. So I just recommend considering documenting those options so you don't have that the struggle at the end when you're already trying to resolve so many other issues.
I am excited about having my funeral because it's going to be me, and they'll know it's me because everything I want is going to be there. It's a celebration of your life, of the person that has passed and gone on. You celebrate their life, and the way you do that is through the funeral.
Pre-planning is a service many seniors don't know is available, but it could save your family additional grief after you pass. Instead of thinking about the details and worrying about the arrangements, your family could spend that tender time reminiscing and celebrating your life together. What better way to show your family how much you care for them than by taking the time to make arrangements now? Call 888-292-6687 right now to find out more. You've spent your entire adult life working toward your retirement. Most likely those retirement plans involved your home. It's your home. You deserve to stay there. But there are circumstances that could make staying in your home difficult, even dangerous. Many seniors are injured and hospitalized every year because of falls. Most falls happen in the bathtub or shower. Scott Anderson from MedStar Home Modifications tells us more.
This right here is a walk-in shower. As you can see, it's accessible. You're not going to have to climb over a big old, ledge to get into the shower. It's accessible with a wheelchair, so if you had a wheelchair, you could easily get it in there, or just the ease of getting in and out of it. The nice thing about this product here is this is a fiberglass product that's kind of built like your boat. Okay, like a marine product. The beautiful thing about this is back behind this fiberglass is plywood, and the benefit with that is you can put these grab bars anywhere. So you can secure a grab bar with no worries into any part of this fiberglass shower, with the exception of this tile area.
So you don't need a stud.
So you don't need a stud. You can put it where you need it. So if this may work for you, but you know what? That doesn't work for me. I want it right here. And the nice thing about that is it doesn't matter that there's a stud behind there. You're not using a different secure mount anchor or anything like that. You're driving that grab bar into plywood, which is safe. This right here is actually a walk-in tub. So a lot of times when people get in a situation that they can't get in and out of a tub, this one makes it easy. So the door opens and this little seat pops up. The reason why that seat pops up is so somebody can kind of get access into the tub, even a big guy like me, and close the door. Then you can put it down and then you sit down. Once you sit down, then you can let the water fill, and the person can have a nice, a nice bath, which they're unfortunately not accustomed to having for quite some time. This one's kind of a nice one. It's got jets. It's got a seat warmer. It's got air jets. It just really makes it a comfortable thing for people. There's some people who love to take a bath, and if they get in a situation where they can't take a bath, this accommodates their needs, where they can get in there, enjoy it, fill it with water, and really enjoy a bath when otherwise physically they're not able to do it. So it's a great product for that.
20 to 30% of people who fall suffer moderate to severe injuries such as lacerations, hip fractures, or head traumas. Falls are the most common cause of traumatic brain injuries. Most fractures among older adults are caused by falls. People age 75 and older who fall are 4 to 5 times more likely than those aged 65 to 74 to be admitted to a long-term care facility for a year or longer. We are talking about a lot of services here today, and so we obviously can't take the time to tell you everything you need to know right now. Call 844-292-6687 now to get more information about home modification. One of the least understood services for seniors is hospice. What is it? Who qualifies? How does hospice work? Of course, not everyone watching today can or will use all of the services and resources we show here today, but we wanted to take a few minutes and let you hear from one of the most knowledgeable experts on hospice in the state, Miley Tavaki of Angels Crossing Hospice.
So hospice is, it's a philosophy of care. It's a special kind of care for patients who have been diagnosed with a terminal or life-limiting illness, who would prefer to have palliative or comfort care as opposed to curative care. So the focus of hospice is to provide comfort and to take care of the person as a whole, meaning that would be the person, their family, their caregivers, and anybody else who is involved in that person's care.
Claudia is here morning and night, 7 days a week, and takes care of me. She showers me and she dresses me and she makes my bed, and if the floor's got something on it, she sweeps it. She really takes good care of me. She's my friend, yeah.
So hospice will provide you with a nurse who will come in weekly and more as needed. Also with a social worker and a chaplain, and there are support services, so they'll provide spiritual care, they provide community resources, they just assess the needs of the person and the family as a whole, and then access those resources for them.
Angels Crossing was more, to me, like a family. They cared for my feelings, they cared for my husband, more like family than they did than a patient and a facility, or how do you say, facility, service that they were providing for us. So they really, you could really feel it when they talked to you, that they were really caring and wanting the best for him and for myself.
Other things we supply though, or provide for, are if you have incontinence supply needs, any other needs, wound care needs. We also supply durable medical equipment, so say you need a wheelchair or hospital bed or a walker, those types of things are covered under hospice also. We also cover medications that pertain to the person's diagnoses. I like to get in there and make sure that I've educated the family, providing options for them, teaching them about the disease process to make sure they understand. Again, providing those options so they can make the best educated decision for them, for themselves as well as their family. But obviously our main goal is to honor the wishes of the person and then support them and their families.
They would always come in, like the nurse would come twice, Jan would come twice a week or once a week, depending on how much we needed her to come, checking on his medication, taking his, just like a regular, you walk into a regular office, they take your weight, they take your blood pressure, they check on his sugar, and all that. So, and then she would not only do that, but we had our anniversary last year, our 33rd anniversary in July. They actually, Angels Crossing paid for my husband and I to go to Grand America and spend some time there.
If you think you or someone you know could qualify for hospice care, we ask you to call 844-292-6687 right now. We have operators standing by to take your call. What we want to do is help you find out about the services that can help you. Many times, these are services you didn't even know existed, or that you maybe thought you didn't qualify for. If you have any questions on what you've seen here today, call the number on the screen right now. We have also uncovered many other resources for people 50 and older. If you have any questions about any service, our operators will take your question and get it to someone who can answer it for you. Plus, we're always looking for more service providers, so if you know of someone that could help your friends or neighbors, call us now. That about does it for this edition of Senior Solutions Utah TV Today. I'm Michelle Rowley. Thanks for watching.